to place an interstice when all of this started. But lately every single shot I call gets discarded. A brawl gets me martyred and tolerance snark. Solving this problem makes for an honorous start. An honor is not in the universe of gift cards. Birds emerging as sharks. Pursuits of a pariah when adversity spark. A bifurcation, the desire to reverse the mixed thoughts. So a servant gets caught and the burden is solved, resulting in insurgents dissolved. The search a pissed off man surfaces saw a return and just law, and it hurts the jigsaw, cause it hurt when it's caution. It hurt that gets stalled, the turbulence plot, a disturbance is stopped. That's why divert attention to preserve protection, cause I've learned my lesson. I'm terrified to be hurt by henchmen. It's been a long time coming, I spent a long time running, disguising my flaws and my shortcomings with my thoughts on them to hide what I am. It's been a long time coming, it's been a long time running, disguising my flaws and my shortcomings with my thoughts to hide what I am. My cowardice is a pedestal of mine, decisions just to find diffidence lying in the side of my vision, blindsiding wisdom inside of me. Its size and its influence is the size of its impotence. Triple shyness continues to rise with its infinite lies to sustain in action. My brain relaxing in a chain reaction, blaming chance for inhumane mishaps, and the same reality I remain detached from. My apathy is misconceived as self-discipline, cause I don't need to solicit friends and sleep with a sycophants to ease out of indigence. But when you see this indifference doesn't recede, you will sense it isn't any coincidence. And I'm just a flustered brim too reluctant to trust his instincts. Breast consults eclipse and thrust in defunct defenses, rupture confidence and disrupt little lust for vengeance, cause a dusted engine, lunging venom has become a legend. It's been a long time coming, it's been a long time running, disguising my flaws and my shortcomings with my thoughts to hide what I am.
Pass the judgment on what I'm singing in this song. Criticism, it will help me thrive. Feedback's keeping me alive. One common error is just a critique as an insult, when it's more valuable to stomach it like an adult. Because objectively assessing what is being said will help in situations where you mustn't lose your head.
Enjoy listening to another point of view, expressing an articulate thought on what I do. So if you have a decent ability to analyze it, it'd be fantastic if you could criticize. Say what I'm doing right, say what I'm doing wrong. Whether speaking of why I'm talking about the song, it's the least you can do, just to spend your precious time from me making you wait. There's a minutes of your life.
Pass the judgment now. Do not worry, it won't break me down. Cause what do you listen to me for? Your enjoyment, I don't see it anymore. One common error is just a critique as an insult, when it's more valuable to stomach it like an adult. Because objectively assessing what is being said will help in situations where you mustn't lose your head.
Enjoy listening to another point of view, expressing an articulate thought on what I do. So if you have a decent ability to analyze it, it'd be fantastic if you could criticize. Say what I'm doing right, say what I'm doing wrong. Whether speaking of why I'm talking about the song, it's the least you can do, just to spend your precious time from me making you wait. There's a minutes of your life. I don't need to be a professional clairvoyant in the flesh to see that unless you're me, you will listen to this track only once at best. And if I have already accepted this destiny, then why do I keep nagging you for feedback from you when I'm the only one that matters? That's because it helps me improve and see what I'm doing differently, which elevates myself in my eyes and my music instantly undergoes a transformation into what I did not imagine. And that's when I was deep in the writing process and appreciating your own creations like you appreciate unfamiliar pieces of work is fascinating. Enjoy listening to another point of view, expressing an articulate thought on what I do. So if you have a decent ability to analyze it, it'd be fantastic if you could criticize. Say what I've been right, say what I've been wrong. But speaking of why I'm talking about this song, is the least you can do just to bring a precious sign for me making you wait these minutes of your life. Oh man, this song is terrible, it's so unbearable, it's so incomparable to violence against animals. Because it's worse, criminals should be tortured over your track's verse. Ow, that hurts. Then why did you ask for my judgment? Has your mind been harassed? Stop talking to me, get out of my Volkswagen.
Ow, what did you just hear? Volkswagen?
What the
Finish him.
Ow, now, so pretty to sold out. It's wonderful, no doubt. Conceited and hold out and decided to write that was contained in the brunch bag. I don't know why they did a shame on this dirtbag. And the worst thing is, this person is a jerk. This is a mission and I'll be merciless. Okay, let's stop this song. I'm already regretting the road to leave you alone. Fatality.
As opposed to most people compelled to stay, the fact that no people could ever comprehend the unimaginable pain they've had. I believe this sentiment is deceiving, and the reason is I feel I'm not the only one with a pain like that, struggling and sweating to escape the trap. Whenever the predicament arises and I'm absolutely clueless how to tackle it, unable to move on, I generally never want to get into specifics of the problem and elaborate upon it in my song until I know I'm capable of solving it, or at the very least I say a possible solution I can try. Cause otherwise I struggle to keep going as the troubles keep on growing, and the thought of it is eating me alive. Yeah, the contradiction is lyrics in my songs depict my misconduct, indolence, father issues, incompetence, and absolving from sins to solve predicaments where my progress is non-existent in. And even when it looks like I stopped to live in sin, the odds to win get thin soon as I exhaust my will, and then I'm remiss again. My problems date to my toddler days and the cause remains unknown. However, who my mom had raised in a lot of ways was a modest male, so don't think that I forgot my failures and rot my brain and accommodate to grow. Cause my flaws okay to not obey a holiday ago. But no matter the scope or the snag or the slope that I'm skidding, how ragged the road to unfathom the hole that I'm digging. My pessimism signs get so big inside, stress level threshold is in size. I get so terrified it becomes impossible to be disappointed at a malevolent surprise. You would think the lessons learned, but I keep on finding out I don't know jack. Rather than emit in empty words, I hope brevity allowed my voice to hatch. As a result, my taciturnity got a history expunged. But if my feelings were not real, then why did the distance hurt so much? And then you underline the disgust inside of me I wasn't privy to. I cannot possibly justify the ugly silence considering what it did to you. Maybe I should have said how my dearth of qualities can be found in your personality. Search vocabulary for verbs and adjectives, interpreting your virtues and search them out of me. My problems date to my toddler days and the cause remains unknown. However, who my mom had raised in a lot of ways was a modest male, so don't think that I forgot my failures and rot my brain and accommodate to grow. Cause my flaws okay to not obey a holiday ago. Tell me I have no flaws, then how come I lie in their eyes? While embracing them in my arms, maybe they are just being nice. Cause it's obvious when I'm not being honest with them and me. So they're fighting till hope is lost, to be etched in my memory. ever possibly will, cause I didn't know what norm I gotta fulfill. How many pints of blood I should spill to make the public honestly thrilled and consider it accomplishment still. Believe it or not, one of my friends when he was drunk listened to the aforementioned track and said that I suck, that I cannot rap, I'm terrible and I should stop rapping. After his proclamation I didn't even try to fight back, cause at the end of the day I don't have any hesitation that what I wrote and recorded was absolutely amazing. In fact, it's one of the greatest tracks that I have created. That's what has taken me back out of his hatred. This made it painful to think about each one of my compositions and wonder who tried to envision and something that I envisioned when it suddenly hit me. My artistic vision isn't even considered when my music's being listened to, is it? It's always vocals to low, beat is too loud. Could you just shut up and listen to what I'm speaking about? Well, excuse me for one of the vocals and the instrumental to blend together so they don't sound like separate entities sewn together. Why is everyone impressed with things I'm not impressed with? And what I consider great, they're not impressed with. That's the part that baffles me as an artist the most, and how professionals tolerate the desire in my skill. Why is everyone impressed with things I'm not impressed with? And what I consider great, they're not impressed with. That's the part that baffles me as an artist the most, and how professionals tolerate the desire in my skill. It's difficult for me to run the thought of imagining myself thought of as an underdog. Since most of my life in every activity I participated, I had an imminent feeling that I was the clear favorite. Not that I was especially gifted, but people insisted that my achievement of success isn't distant. So I always felt the pressure that I had a lot to prove and not to lose what I have already accomplished too. And even when rapping with lyrical monsters such as CMK and Young Mike, my gut would be telling me better get ready to rap the best verse of your life, cause people expect you to shine. And I don't think that this could be done. There is this temptation to calculate music in order to please everyone, but I know that nobody will ever appreciate my artistic vision the way I view it. So I do not make it an exhibition or make it stupid, cause trying to cater to people and doing what's popular with a specific mission is a waste of music. Why is everyone impressed with things I'm not impressed with? And what I consider great, they're not impressed with. That's the part that baffles me as an artist the most, and how professionals tolerate the desire in my skill. Why is everyone impressed with things I'm not impressed with? And what I consider great, they're not impressed with. That's the part that baffles me as an artist the most, and how professionals tolerate the desire in my skill. Self-critic, everything in my mind is gridded. I'm able to analyze anything logically, the sky's the limit. You give me whatever topic you want, time committed to quickly provide specific, legitimate arguments if I can find a minute. Level-headed analysis is living at ease in my mind, never letting emotions get in the way of my reason in line. It's evident that I'm a dependable and intelligent guy, benevolent in general, but I'm always focused, ready to fight. I don't think I'm the most perfect person alive. I've made plenty of stupid choices in my personal life, which I'm paying the price for, remaining an eyesore to the same people I saw as a pain in my life before. When I blindly swore I'd never sink as low as them, yet I get a feeling the rope is thin. But what gives me an incentive not to yield and choose to go is fighting on my own and what I've achieved by doing so. Why is everyone impressed with things I'm not impressed with? And what I consider great, they're not impressed with. That's the part that baffles me as an artist the most, and how professionals tolerate the desire in my skill. Why is everyone impressed with things I'm not impressed with? And what I consider great, they're not impressed with. That's the part that baffles me as an artist the most, and how professionals tolerate the desire in my skill. As I think of myself in the past, my stress arises. Why is this happening? I guess the crisis made it to days like this, testing my nerves, bending with the hesitation of expressing my words. I don't have to feel like I'm a perfect man, but what about the fact that I can't cross standards? How do I sort out the steps which I'm taking? My legs are worn out, tell me what we are chasing. What's on my menu? I'm not even giving a glance at it, so now I'm mad at it, cause it's a sad at it. No excuses, forgive me for being so stupid. All I wanna do is fix what's broken, but I must cool up. This pressure, it is just too much. If only I had been strong, I would not end up a hostage in this world. And get up, strike back, dress up the thoughts with real actions and get my life back.
Maybe I did something wrong, but your reaction wasn't quite what I expected. But it's alright, cause I get my one and right, hoping it'll nullify this painful life. But letting go is really hard, because indeed you hit the heart. Your reckless words have left me stunned.
I'm still trying to suppress the urge of emptying lungs. When I was younger, I used to be able to touch the sky, look at what's inside. Then I would open up my mind, nothing I did wrong. The memories live on, this melody, this song sinking, but my knowledge is telling me it's gone. I can take a step away from this joke in the mirror. The only thing clear is uncontrollable fear. When I should run to fight, I'm stuck rope tight. When I should run to hide, I've spoken enough, alright. but I should be afraid of the future with aim. I'm truly in pain, knowing that it faded in vain. I should have solved my problems, ignored my thoughts. As I'm mentally sentenced to give up, I've lost the plot. This infamy of being pleased with duck in my life, dug in my eyes, the fog is lifted up from the sky. Drugged with pride, I'm hearing the voices planning doubts. In following this long route, I can't clear out.
Maybe I did something wrong, but your reaction wasn't quite what I expected. But it's alright, cause I get my one and right, hoping that I will fight this painful life. But letting go is really hard, because indeed you hit the heart. Your reckless words have left me stunned. I'm still trying to suppress the urge of emptying lungs. All we've got is this. All we've got is this one life. All we've got is this. All we've got is this one life.
Sometimes and all we've got now is this one life. And if my saying might as well go to me, then forgive me for being so stupid. Chasing happiness, why not make it chase after us? We bank on bliss being answered with our accomplishments. But when passion brings disasters in your realm, it concocts distress. You lose your path through your wrath and wonder why you're so sour, when you've just had proved your value and finally you're in power. You thought you fended all your headaches off and settled on a better spot, but then you comprehend it's not heaven. Stop overthinking the obvious and accept that happiness is psychological. You can purchase boxicles, burn up lots of fuel in order to fix every obstacle, and still flounder till doubts wax with the countenance downcast, unable to determine whether mountain you climb mask as you drown in a time lapse. How do you bounce back from a defeat you considered a victory, but didn't admit it wasn't the winning? A spirit coveted and stubbornly resisted your inner wishes, convinced by extrinsic influence this is what you really wanted. But why to the instinct and restricted desires to impress outsiders with no ostensible signs of the stressed down size, just a stretched out silence. Is it possible to emulate the feeling of happiness when you think you're not? Or the physical surroundings and the internal sensation inner loss? Tangible achievements help your perception, but it's misleading to believe they are the primary explanation for why you feel the way you feel. Imagination is underestimated in pursuit of joy. Experience is shaping you, destroy the ingenuity that made you a boy. A child's eyes see beyond the line of sight, which is why their lives are a guiding light to what a mind behind the perfect life is like. If my own thoughts bring me delight, despite the looming meteorite, my happiness lives in my soul, even if I just drain the Hemlock bowl. If my own thoughts bring me delight, despite the looming meteorite, my happiness will not flee my soul, even if I just drain the Hemlock bowl. If you're forsaken in the dregs of the earth, you'll live in conditions and connections with people develop from better to worse. Age is catching up with you and the mirage of your success is a blur. Use your fantasy to fuse a tapestry of a new reality for you and set up your world. Yes, you deceive yourself, but see what you sense is real. If it sends you chills, you can reject what you feel, no matter how well concealed. You should welcome sealed, imperceptible dimension getting itself unsealed, pulling your self-conceived electric dreams in a magnetic field. The power of psychology works, it's astounding what positive words can amount to if the odds are reversed. Having found the resolve that you searched, the truth won't matter, cause the only truth is perception. And if you learn to control it, you'll overcome anything that moves your direction. If my own thoughts bring me delight, despite the looming meteorite, my happiness lives in my soul,
Even if I just drain the Hemlock bowl. If fire does bring me delight, despite the gloom in me inside, my happiness will not free my soul. Even if I just drain the Hemlock bowl. Insult me, right when I'm down, can't hear my pulse beat, I'm on the ground, cause when I rise up, cause when I rise up, when I rise up.
If an optimistic thought existed, a loss its grip in a toxic mix of excessive cautiousness. Cause when a narcissist deposits his self-confidence into the swamp of his sins, the solace sinks him into alcoholic drinks. When I'm on a binge, my eyelids twitch and body glitches. I cannot resist sabotage and fitness as I fall in sickness. Solipsism is demolishing my philosophies, bitter ponderous pills penetrating the crevices of my esophagus. But when I'm congested, I burst vexed with the words bringing out the blessed, and I burst best and the worst in me, then I best of the burst best to be heard for the spotlight. And if the attention at search lets me immerse in an untethered universe, I'll believe that my effort truly works. But a cold shower is not quite. When I feel alone, I wanna burn the pain away. Earnest to develop an fervent flame of rain. But you notice I'm gonna have to burn the pain, the rain. Then you better return the way you came. When I feel alone, I wanna burn the pain away. Earnest to develop an fervent flame of rain. But you notice I'm gonna have to burn the pain, the rain. Then you better return the way you came. When I feel alone, I wanna burn the pain away. Earnest to develop an fervent flame of rain. But you notice I'm gonna have to burn the pain, the rain. Then you better return the way you came. When I feel alone, I wanna burn the pain away. Earnest to develop an fervent flame of rain. But you notice I'm gonna have to burn the pain, the rain. Then you better return the way you came. Every time we start chasing horse, tracing stars based on course placement, our patience starves itself forsaken in a dark basement, waiting for the coveted ray of light to embark. Angels on a barge, chaining your heart to undergo stark changes. Once you sank inside, did you notice that when you abandoned pride, you couldn't cause you didn't understand the plight that exterior volatile forces ran your life. In a connoisseur you thought you were, got lost in her, could not defer the conversion to what you did not prefer. Your body's shaking cause of how you got your God is shaping, noggins breaking with a lot at stake. The problem is not escaping the flaws you saw before, dissolved in a fog of war. You're on the floor sooner than you could block the door. Despair looming, making you a scared human with whatever you had there ruined when a rare woman ensnared you in. If you can't leave the trap, don't believe you cracked, because time will heal anything and the world needs you back.
Go ahead and insult me, right when I'm down, can't hear my pulse beat, I'm on the ground, cause when I rise up, I wanna burn the pain away. This is the been a perfect place for rain. Notice you're gonna have to burn the pain to rain. Then I'm gonna return the rise up, I wanna burn the pain away. This is the been a perfect place for rain. Notice you're gonna have to burn the pain to rain. Then I'm gonna return the rise up. When I rise up, then you better return the way you came. Then you better return the way you came.
I wonder what people think about me up on a rock with interactions when we first meet. Even though I predict calamity, somehow the truth still manages to hurt me. Having developed idiosyncrasies of a kid and not fixing him as an adult, I'm paying for him. With a continuing inability to stick to conventions of everyday norm. But if you're a weird bloke, aren't you a genius who has a career? No. But then isn't there hope? Isn't it always like this with you soft-bare folk? You pretend to be dumb, but when we begun the conversation, your pretense was debunked. Your intellect resembles Elon, adept as they come. So why you working in a week, a servant filet mignon?
There is nothing more to me than meets the eye. What you see is what I am and what I stand for. But no one explores mysteries to hide. I just didn't succeed in the schemes I planned for.
Obviously I'm feigning ignorance, and my entire catalog isn't a wail for hell. In person I ain't vociferous, so this litany of complaints must be a fairy tale. Otherwise it'd trigger my friends' concern and only make me uncomfortable around them. Reciprocating sympathy with the Zurich whimpering with the burden just for some counseling. Plus feelings of four suckers, they all end with divorce papers and court summons before summer's up in force. Custody forfeitures, a sorceress in storage just to get your fortune trust. Cause my bank account's cash amount is tantamount to violence. You can't account to life ends. Which is why Dennis finds himself in his silence, or at least that's what my wife thinks.
There is nothing more to me than meets the eye. What you see is what I am and what I stand for. But no one explores mysteries to hide. I just didn't succeed in the schemes I planned for.
I'm not proud to pour lapses down the wrong path that thousands forecasted. Can't even crouch to harsh wrath without my arms clasped and sounding sarcastic. For the past 108 months, I have not behaved as the most loquacious son, evading mom and dad. Ghost and Skype calls, yeah, the hope to side souls, poltergeist walls. No surprise stalls from father's discontent of my intermittent vanishing, empowered his descent. Having remedied my habit as enmity persisted when I accosted him and said I'm upsetting him as this kid proceeding to treat me like a project numero tres. When I wanted to bond instead of getting consumed by stress, possessiveness and affection, the line is blurred. Tricky to tell the difference in what I deserved.
There is nothing more to me than meets the eye. What you see is what I am and what I stand for. But no one explores mysteries to hide. I just didn't succeed in the schemes I planned for.
Slight hesitation, I forgot my destination. Where I start, uncharted summits keep me chained before I plummet. Freeze the frame. Freeze the frame.
And on what random bystanders think.
psychological game, a chess where you play defense and your rival canes. A press is aim, the press taking risk to take down your fortress till it's made in sixes. You protect your rape on, concede the center, allow it a D4 break. Make his pieces better when you retreat to the back rank. Watch the stacks, spin skewers, discoveries, and do not collapse. Cause somewhere in the moors of rusty squalor, face rasping mourning, thus marauder, inherently absorbing testament to foreign. Was the woman born a son and daughter? This circumstances behind birth have been reified, kid nurturing hyperboles. Dispersed in these cursed with these uncertainties about not turning in like Hercules. To fight for the other against life, but beside him as a guide in life and against size. Many minds being inside that abide them in disguise. They might have to despise the motto to live by. It aroused the hidden powers in him, hours and it drowns in his heaven bled at work. When it's still scrambling for salmon to sustain the quality of vacation policy in their home, but in red alert. Abandon the schemes, plan for the dreams, to direct passion and seal advocates, but devil's advocates and make scandal things, but morally support them no matter how bad it gets. Cause they were catalysts for mums and dads' ambitions. Aspiration of the past gone missing. However, subconsciously good or bad decision is revamped to fit in what the bad is wishing. As the little rascals grow, they develop passions of their own, and the parents grant them stepping stones to advance. So where's the goal for a chance to be a pro at the field it chose? As soon as they find a soulmate, try to create a child, and a fate cycle is shaped, and desires deflate for the drive of your babies. And the question is, do you want the cycle to break?
You spend a lot of time alone studying, and in a sense you're alone at the board too, aren't you? I mean, it's not exactly a social activity. So, and of course, there's pretty obviously a correlation with sort of mathematical ability and various analytical ability, probably music too, it seems like. So those things are pretty interior, right? Those appeal to people who really want to spend a lot of time with themselves, thinking about problems. So it makes sense that they'd be more introverted generally.
Looking back at who I was when I was younger, my penumbra emblazoned in panic by the numbers. Tiny glimpse of the 90s, cause lives are desecrated. Sick in my stomach and concurrently ameliorated. See, when I was 3 I used to like to fight a lot. The fuse that die inside had got the dudes to rise from hiding spots, igniting odds of patience, driving them crazy till I unlocked. My grandmother would scold me, so eventually at 5 I stopped. Becoming more peaceful, astonishing my parents, examining more people, acknowledging my merits, ascending to the top of the surface from the gutter below, transforming my personality, discovering hope. But no, not everything was under control. This was the time that signs of shyness started to show. Introverted, quiet, a little neurotic, rarely the first one to talk to people, which is ironic, because I became friends with most of my best friends by talking to them first. It just doesn't make sense what forced my sixth sense to suddenly get worse. It's a paradox, drastically blown, out of proportion, rapidly grown. My conscience constantly contradicts common sense and acts on its own. I guess the reason is I was brought up by 2 women, so the fact that my dad wasn't in a house living with us was a huge venom. So who then should I look up to see how to be a man? My intuition along with my mother took the command. The softness and kindness made it a bit difficult to get lost in the violence, and as often as I was raging I couldn't stand to get off in a fight, which wasn't always the best decision, since a man with an immense ambition has to fight, be aggressive when the situation requests infliction of damage to the other person, deserving their soul dispersed in a turbulent flow, hurting his soul physically, mentally with a merciless blow. Conversely, I didn't want to participate in any fights anymore, which caused the backlash as I finally saw fighting galore, like in fright in a swarm coming out from wherever they were hiding before. To make matters worse, these rivulets of fear streamed down my spine whenever I saw those people appear. The emotion wasn't even the slightest bit justified. It was a reflex automatically getting stuck inside. I tried not to make it obvious, but I guess I failed, because they took advantage as I stood there stressed and pale. They weren't bullying me, but they were sneering at me, and whatever I did to deserve it, it made them really happy. I believe I tried responding back with something offensive, but it only backfired, rendering intent ineffective. Not knowing what to say, I tried ignoring the insults, thinking they'd forget it, but got even more as a result. So it continued this way until one day I risked to say something they didn't want to hear to make it history. Unlike the other times when dude took it to to heart and challenged me to a fight, hoping to rip me apart. The fear in my eyes is spiked, and even though I tried to hide it, wetness on my pants neither quite dissolving a doubt, confirming that I was frightened. But I knew that if I wanted to put an end to his bullying, I had no option but to tussle with a buffle bludgeon in his skull till he's unconscious despite being bad at boxing. So I punched him in his face with all my might. Before noticing his restaurant out eyes, I quickly bit him in his head and bit his head and reflexively ran away from the fight. Let it gossip, instantly infested. Little genius says him, this is what the textbook gibberish suggested. Dennis stiffened up, scuffed his mug, bit a buffalo up in the mud, so Dennis isn't to be messed with. With a load of crap to depict him committing a bolder act and a brave life. I froze so fast I couldn't piss my denims, and when I broke the trap I escaped like a Soviet rocket into space after pretty much Louis Suarez in his face. As he made his move to Ramos me in place, my acceleration got me lost without a trace. Where's that guy now? Probably serving his prison time, or is dead like Kara. Hopefully not, and he shifted over the flag, but said that not everyone has a identical gain like Kara. Dennis was lucky to grow up in a loving and bold and develop his insight on how to keep his existence civilized with resentment inside. Welcome to my element of life. I hate irresponsible people with promises feeble to such an extent. You sulk in animosity is lethal. Sudden upheaval made you very affronted and evil, and it's not like the first time they have conned and deceived you. Someone promised you something and you accepted the fact, expecting it back the time you selected exact. But the person decided to bail without any notice. The irritation inside you doesn't allow you to focus. I understand you might not have time on your hands. I understand you could secretly hide other plans. But if we made an agreement in the morning, how could you change your mind in the evening? Remember when you're busy tonight. Yeah, I'm thankful for your kind-hearted occasional helping, but man, I cannot resist if my patience is melting. I have a serious psychological trauma which I inherited from my father, and with which I don't really wanna bother. Whatever happened to the word of honor? That goes to my dad too. Serving drama, we're going in 10 minutes. Oh yes, okay. 3 hours later, when are we going away? I just wanna encourage everyone to be more specific with the agreements depicted, so there won't be any mix-up. How can a friend burden me to nervously look at my watch every minute? Can't you see even the responsibility has a limit? Not able to do good on what you promised me, then that's the way that it ought to be. Instead of having to trap me down, just warn me by getting in touch and talk to me. I promise I won't be mad at you. No need to do what you don't have to do. Instead of having to trap me down, just get in touch with me so I can talk to you. Not fulfilling the promises, the problem is bottomless. You blunderers don't even know what your blunder is. But now that it's come to this, I wonder if you did ponder this. I'm not fond of this ominous dominance of incompetence. How prosperous it would be if there was trusted responsiveness, based on which we could make decisions and come to the consonants. Without a number of blunderous anonymous promises that would not have been begun to be accomplished with competence. I'm sorry for the redundancies, but I cannot take anymore. If I'm not being heard, then who am I saying this for? The sheer arrogance of conclusion, the lack of free time's exclusive to you is disparaging and confusing. What a nerve to even follow this idiotic logic. You are not the only one. The clock has gotten hostage, so hold your horses and stop this garbage when you face a friend. Think about it and never make this mistake again. Not able to do good in what you promised me, then that's the way that it ought to be. Instead of having to trap me down, just warn me by getting in touch and talk to me. I promise I won't be mad at you. No need to do what you don't have to do. Instead of having to trap me down, just get in touch with me so I can talk to you.